Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of CRATV, where we talk about politics, policy, and politicians, all from a conservative perspective, right here in the great state of California. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends know where the conversation is taking place. Also, if you haven't already done so, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And in the case of Facebook and YouTube, make sure you hit that notification button. That way you'll be notified as soon as we go live, and you can participate in the live chat as the program is taking place. Also want to encourage you, hey, we're a membership organization. Please become a member of the California Republican Assembly. We work to help elect like-minded conservatives to offices all the way from school board level all the way up to President of the United States. But folks, we cannot do it without your help. That's why it's called grassroots and not AstroTurf. So please take a moment, click on the join link in the description to this video and become a member of the California Republican Assembly today. Remember, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Don't be part of the problem. All right, let's get on with today's show. Well, you guys, for those of you who don't know, after every general election, after every general election, the following spring, there are some other elections that take place that are quite important. And those are the elections for our party office, our state party office here in the state of California. And that includes for us the California Republican Party. And we have the opportunity to once again to help elect someone to the chairmanship of the California Republican Party who thinks like us. Doesn't just, let me clarify, does not just think like us, is one of us and has been for a very, very long time. I probably don't really even need to introduce you to him, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, and that would be Mr. Steve Frank, candidate for the chairmanship of the California Republican Party. Steve, how are you doing today?
Craig, always glad to be with you. It's a wonderful day in California.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. So, first of all, before we get into, talking about your candidacy, do me a favor and just kind of let folks know a little bit about your background and then, why you decided to run for chairman this time around.
Well, I've been involved, Craig, for 60 years in politics. I walked precincts in 1960 for Nixon for president. In 62, I was on the Nixon for Governor Speakers Bureau. In 64, I ran a office for Barry Goldwater for president in Los Angeles. I was a regional director, Youth for Reagan for governor in 66, served in the military, served in Vietnam. Came back, was state chairman, Youth for Nixon in 1968, and have been working on campaigns ever since. I'm a past president of the California Republican Assembly. I'm a founder, or the founder, of the National Federation of Republican Assemblies. Besides all the political stuff, for 5 years I was also the volunteer chair of the Girl Scout Councils of California. And for 5 years, I was the volunteer chair of Travelers Aid Society of Los Angeles. Currently, I serve on 2 county commissions in Ventura County. One is the Air Pollution Control District Advisory Board. And last September, I was asked to be a trustee of a historical cemetery owned by the county, and I agreed to do that. Plus, I put out my newsletter, California Political News and Views, every day at 3 a.m. and been doing that since 1996. So I try to stay off the streets and keep busy.
You not only have you done a lot, but you've been doing, not only have you done a lot, but you're doing a lot and you've been doing it for a long time. Just the amount of work and involvement that you've had has been phenomenal. So let's get into the race real quick. So obviously, there's a difference of opinion in terms of how the California Republican Party should be run. What are the concerns that you have with the current chairperson, your opponent, and what makes you different?
Well, first of all, the first responsibility of a political party is to register voters. The California Republican Party has not registered voters since March of 2013, almost 8 years ago. 2 years ago, my opponent said that she would do a vigorous, robust voter registration program. She didn't. And in fact, in the last 2 years, while the Democrats did it, The Democrats now have another 1.2 million new Democrats over Republicans. Second, we need to strengthen the Republican Party at the grassroots level. And for the party, that means the county committees. There are 58 counties in the state of California, 10 of which in the March 3rd, 2020 ballot did not have a single person file. In other words, there are 10 committees that are totally dead in the state of California. And the state party and the state party chair is responsible for that and has done nothing. Third, we had 42,000 volunteers, and that's a good number, except the state party hoarded those people, refused to allow the county parties or the nominees of our party to have the names of those people. And of course, the chair said, well, I got all those volunteers. Not quite. In fact, those were mostly Trump volunteers who were told that they had to volunteer for Trump through the California Republican Party. And Jessica Patterson, the chair, was the chairman of the California Trump campaign, which is amazing because she told the LA Times on March 2nd, 2019, that she's advising Republican candidates not even to mention Donald Trump and to ignore him. So how can you become chair of a campaign that you're telling candidates to ignore? Yeah, that's just intellectual dishonesty.
Well, but it's not just that. Now, one of the other things that we've experienced, and this is, by the way, folks, aside from just the fact that he's dead, that Steve is one of us, you know, there has been a systemic effort by the California Republican Party to lock out conservatives, to make sure that we who are vocal conservatives are not a part of any of the leadership, no committee chairmanships. Very few serve on any of the committees within the California Republican Party. In fact, the interesting part about it is that while we can't seem to be getting, while we vocal conservatives can't seem to be getting any positions on the board or anything within the California Republican Party, there is one person from the Lincoln Project, and you guys know we've talked about the Lincoln Project that actually serves on the board of the California Republican Party. You want to touch on that real quick?
I need to correct that, Craig.
Oh well, please do.
Madrid doesn't. He serves as an advisor to Jessica Patterson, the chair.
As an advisor. So, but is that an official position?
No, that's not an official position, but he's the one who gives her the ideological direction for the party. And he is pro-Biden and anti-Republican.
Yes, exactly, folks. Keep in mind, the Lincoln Project is the same group of folks who first and foremost campaigned to make sure that President Trump did not get reelected, but also spent a lot of money campaigning against senators, Republican senators, who supported Donald Trump, basically handing control, or at least playing a part in handing control of the Senate, which basically means unified government, to Democrats. This is a person who's an advisor to our current state party chairperson.
And let me put it in a different way. While she's been protecting Mike Madrid from being thrown out of the party, she's given him sanctuary. The board has given him sanctuary for leading the pro-Biden wing of the Republican Party. At the same time, after the primaries, the board, led by Jessica, took away the Republican endorsement for Republican nominees without giving them the chance of even knowing that there's going to be a hearing, without being able to defend themselves, without even knowing a hearing was going on. And these were conservatives. 2 got thrown out. Another almost got thrown out until one board member says, this is truly unfair. And there were 5 more set to be beheaded by Jessica Patterson as Republican nominees. And the first 2 were smeared in the media by the chair and by the Republican Party. And even with that,
what were they accused of?
That's a good question. Those were secret meetings. So we don't know what they were accused of. Neither do they know what they were accused of. They weren't allowed to hear the charges. They weren't allowed to read the charges, and they haven't been told the charges, and they weren't allowed to defend themselves. I mean, Craig, that's what the Democrat Party does. That's how
Right.
the Democrat Party operates,
Yeah.
and we should be better than that.
Oh, most definitely we should be better than that. I mean, there's a reason why small donors, individual donors who have been quite frankly the backbone of the Republican Party every place else except for California in recent history. I know small donors used to be the backbone of the California Republican Party once upon a time, but when you have Republicans acting like Democrats, when you have people who are going out of their way to support those who support Democrats and to come against individuals who stand for the very values upon which our party is founded, one has to wonder why this person should be or continue to be in elective office within the Republican Party, shouldn't they? I mean,
Well, I have a very positive program on how to build the party from the ground up, how to create candidates, how to make sure no Democrat goes unchallenged, while at the same time, the chair has made a determination, as you know, Craig, I'm sure you've spoken about this on your show before. There's a recall of Governor Newsom. It looks like it's going to be on the ballot. We know there'll be an election in 2022. You may have your favorite candidate for governor. I may have mine, though I'm not endorsing anybody. We all have our theories about this, but don't worry about that, Craig. She's already decided who your candidate's going to be and who the party is going to support. Last Monday night on January 11th, she and I both spoke before the Orange County Central Committee, and in her presentation she said, and I quote, 2020 set up the table. We, talking about herself, are going to recruit a candidate to run for governor against Newsom. So you don't have to worry about finding a candidate or working for a candidate. She's done it for you. I mean, that's how the Star Chamber approaches how Democrats do it. This is embarrassing that the chair of the party is telling 5 million Republicans their vote doesn't count, their ideas don't count, their values don't count. She will tell you who to support for governor.
all right, now let me ask you this. Now, you talked about the state party raised money, and I heard they raised money for the recall. This is probably a very loaded question. Do we know how those funds were spent, or if they were spent on the recall?
Absolutely, we know exactly how the money was raised and how they were spent. She put out 15 different email blasts raising money from unsuspecting people, telling them, we need to get rid of Gavin Newsom, give us money. Over $100,000 was collected in that manner by the state party to get rid of Gavin Newsom. On January 11th, I think that was the correct date, on January 11th, there was a board meeting of the CRP in which a motion was made to give $25,000 to the recall effort. She not only voted against it, but she said we don't have the money to give. And of course, she's getting a $250,000 salary a year. And I would suspect a good part of the money to get rid of Gavin Newsom went there. Greg, I believe in public service. I don't believe in self-service.
So wait. $100,000 was raised. $25,000 was given to the recall effort.
No, it was asked to give.
No, I'm sorry. It was asked to be given to the recall effort.
And it was voted down, and she voted against it and said we don't have the money to give.
Okay, folks, I'm just going to be real with you. If there was no other reason, if there was absolutely no other reason, she cannot continue to be the chairperson of the California Republican Party. Now, the great part is we have a phenomenal candidate. We have someone who understands politics, who understands policy, who understands the media, but most importantly, understands grassroots and grassroots conservative values. That's Mr. Steve Frank. Mr. Frank, how can folks follow you, follow the campaign? What would you suggest they do in order to help you get elected?
Well, I would urge them to go to my website, frankforleadership.com, and the number 4 for the number 4, frankforleadership.com. Sign up as an endorser of mine on the website. Also, if you're a delegate, to make sure that you go to the convention. It'll be by Zoom, And so you go to the convention and you vote, and that you ask your friends who are delegates to let's have a transparent and accountable party that represents 5 million people, not just a few mucky mucks in Sacramento.
Exactly. Folks, I cannot even begin to tell you how important this is. This is kind of the nuts and bolts of the party. If you want to know why the Republican Party in the state of California has had a challenge, it's quite frankly, it's been because it's been a long time since we have had conservative leadership that's actually interested in what the grassroots have to say, who's interested in bottom up leadership as opposed to top down dictatorial leadership. Steve, I want to thank you for putting your hat in the ring. We'll be praying for you as you go forward. Want to let everybody know, remind everybody, Steve is endorsed by the California Republican Assembly. So if you're a delegate watching this, this is the guy you need to be voting for. So Steve, once again, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you for all that you do and will continue to do.
Thank you for having me on. God bless.
God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Frank, the next chairman of the California Republican Party. All right, folks. Well, hey, that's going to be it for today's program. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and telling your friends about the California Republican Assembly. We are California's oldest, most successful grassroots conservative organization. But folks, we're only successful because of you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again real soon.